Salam everyone, welcome back to an episode of Ramadan with the Sahaba. It's good to see so many familiar faces keen to learn more about the beloved companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. You might remember me, I'm Ahmed. Today I'll be sharing a story of a companion who was blessed with the extraordinary gift of memory. His name was Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Abu Hurairah's memory was so strong that he used to listen to, understand, memorize, and then later teach the Prophet traditions. He has narrated more hadith than any other person, over 5,000. A hadith is a record of what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, his actions, or what he approved. Hadith has helped form Sharia and fiqh, so it basically tells us as Muslims how we should behave. Are you guys aware of any hadith? Try to think of one now that you've learned from either your mum, dad, sheikh, or even a friend. You can share it and teach all of us in the questions and answers section later on. But be warned, I'll pick on one of you if nobody speaks up. So fun fact before we move on, Abu Hurairah's kunya means father of a kitten. Remember, we explained in an earlier episode that kunya refers to the person's firstborn son or daughter. Well, Abu Hurairah never had a kitten for a child, but he loved cats so much that they gave him that nickname. Abu Hurairah was born into the Banu Dos tribe. His father had died, leaving him with only his mother and no other relatives. Abu Hurairah became a Muslim through the chief of his clan, At-Tufail ibn Ammar. Once, in the early days of Islam, At-Tufail traveled to Mecca. The people of Quraysh who controlled Mecca told him, "Don't listen to Muhammad ﷺ because he's a magician. The minute you hear him, he'll influence you." The Qurayshi people managed to trick At-Tufail to a point where he put cotton wool in his ears when he passed the Prophet, just to prevent him from listening to what he had to say. Despite the cotton wool, however, when passing the Kaaba, At-Tufail heard the Prophet reciting Quran. He found the Quran was so sweet to his ears, so powerful to his chest, and so full of meaning that he immediately went to the Prophet and spoke to him. Just a short while, At-Tufail accepted Islam. At-Tufail returned to his tribe, Banu Dos, and started spreading the word of Islam. Very few people listened to him, but one of them was Abu Hurairah, and that's exactly how Abu Hurairah became Muslim. So after a while, Abu Hurairah traveled to Medina because he wanted to meet the Prophet ﷺ. Once Abu Hurairah saw the Prophet, he did not miss a single thing the Prophet said. Anytime Muhammad ﷺ spoke, Abu Hurairah would memorize it. Abu Hurairah was a very poor man with no family. He didn't work and instead spent all of his time with the Prophet. He was so invested in listening to the Prophet that he wouldn't even get up for food. The only time he would leave the Prophet was to sleep. So one day, Abu Hurairah was starving, but he had no money to buy food. He happened to run into Abu Bakr Siddiq, who was another of the Prophet's companions, and spoke to him for a bit, hoping to be invited to dinner. But Abu Bakr didn't invite him. Then he ran into Umar ibn Khattab, who was another companion, and again he spoke to him, hoping to be invited for dinner. But, like with Abu Bakr, he wasn't invited home. Finally, Abu Hurairah ran into Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who did invite him home. Abu Hurairah then went to the Prophet's house and saw that they had a tiny amount of milk in a pot. He was hoping beyond hope that he could drink from the milk. But the Prophet said, "O Abu Hurairah, go and call the people of Sufa." The people of Sufa were the extremely poor of the Prophet's companions. So although he wanted the milk more than anything, Abu Hurairah had to listen to the Prophet's instruction, and he went to get them. When they returned, each person drank from the pot of milk. So the pot went round from one person to the next, and then finally it reached the Prophet. The Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Hurairah, "You haven't drunk any," and told him to drink. Abu Hurairah only drank a bit, but the Prophet said, "Drink as much as you can." So then Abu Hurairah drank until he had no more room in his stomach. Only at that point did the Prophet himself drink from the pot. What happened to Abu Hurairah and the milk is an important message about patience. Even though Abu Hurairah was starving and wanted the milk more than anything else in the entire world, he still offered it to the poor companions first. In the end, although there was only a small amount of milk to go around, Abu Hurairah still had his fill. So remember to be patient like Abu Hurairah, as patience is a virtue. Maybe even tonight, as you're waiting for the yummy food that your parents are going to cook you for iftar, try and be patient. You'll have your fair share in the end, and your mum will be so amazed by your manners that she'll even let you have the ice cream that you wanted. So Abu Hurairah had a vital role in Islam. You see, back in those days, there were many people who were heroes, teachers of the Quran, and spreaders of the religion among the companions, but they were lacking people who were recording the legacy and the teachings of the Prophet. This is where Abu Hurairah fits in. He managed to preserve a large chunk of Islamic history by memorizing everything the Prophet said. This history was then passed down orally and also in text from generation to generation. Nowadays, it isn't hard for any of us to find what we want on the internet, but back then, there was no way of readily accessing that information. People like Abu Hurairah kept the knowledge alive. People knew about Abu Hurairah's gift of memory and wanted to test him. One day, they set up a little examination for him. They invited him to sit and narrate about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, while somebody secretly wrote down everything that Abu Hurairah had said. After one entire year, they invited him again and asked him to narrate the same stories he had said previously. Abu Hurairah did not forget a single word. He made no mistakes and managed to recite the same narrations perfectly, matching the information that was written down exactly 1 year ago. Abu Hurairah lived a great life as a worshipper and defender of Islam. He didn't miss a single battle and lived a life of piety. During Umar ibn Khattab's reign, Abu Hurairah was made governor of Bahrain, but he still lived humbly. His citizens used to watch him cut his own firewood. Towards the end of his life, he focused on teaching others, so he could pass down all the hadith he had learned from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When the time came, Abu Hurairah passed away peacefully. In order for us to appreciate Abu Hurairah's miraculous gift, why don't we do a little experiment, just to see how difficult it is to recall a single phrase, let alone 5,000. So I'm going to say something now about Abu Hurairah, and I want you to try and remember it and tell me the exact phrase at the end of the Q&A. As a bonus challenge, I'll even ask what the phrase was in the upcoming Kahoot session. So the extra smarties might be able to remember the phrase for more than a few days. Okay, here's the phrase. Abu Hurairah, father of a little kitten, lived for 78 years. He was buried in Al-Baqi. Okay, I'll say it one more time slowly. Abu Hurairah, father of a little kitten, lived for 78 years. He was buried in Al-Baqi. Okay, that's the end of today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Ramadan of the Sahaba. See you all later.
Oh